In the wild world, life does not operate through emotion. It operates through decisions made under the pressure of survival. Early daylight gradually spreads across an arid land where vegetation grows sparsely and the ground reveals long, expanding cracks. The air remains nearly still, as heat begins to accumulate close to the surface, causing the first movements of the day to become slower and more cautious. As the sun rises above the horizon, temperature increases rapidly with each passing minute. The remaining moisture from the night evaporates and then quickly dissipates into the hot air. Under these conditions, shade becomes a rare factor. And movement under direct sunlight requires more energy than usual. In this environment, every action carries a survival cost. Each step consumes physical strength. Each poorly timed decision can reduce the ability to maintain life in the days ahead. The existence of species here is not guided by emotion. Their behavior is shaped by the need to access essential resources required for survival. On the grassland, activity begins very early. Stronger individuals often move first, monitoring the surrounding area and responding quickly to unusual signals. Smaller or weaker individuals maintain distance behind, selecting routes that reduce the risk of exposure to danger. Food sources in this ecosystem are not evenly distributed across space. Water is even more limited, forcing species to adjust timing and travel distance to reach locations that still support life. As the dry season extends, survival pressure increases across the entire ecological community. Vegetation slows its growth, causing available food supply to decline noticeably. Herbivores alter their routines, limiting movement during periods of high temperature. This adjustment changes the activity rhythm of predators, forcing them to expand their search range to maintain necessary energy intake. Under these conditions, the entire ecosystem is influenced by the same underlying factor. That factor is the shortage of essential resources required for life. This shortage generates a chain of consecutive responses. Behavior changes in response to environmental conditions. Species distribution adjusts according to remaining water and food sources. Areas that temporarily maintain viable living conditions become gathering points for many species, while also increasing risk levels. In the wild world, opportunity and danger always exist together. Life is sustained not through absolute strength, but through the ability to adapt to changes that occur each day. This is the operating foundation of nature. It is also the law of survival that governs all movement across this land. As temperature continues to rise, the activity rhythm of the grassland changes noticeably. Movement periods become shorter in order to limit unnecessary energy expenditure. Herds of herbivores begin to disperse in different directions, moving toward remaining patches of green after a prolonged dry season. This dispersion reduces direct competition in the short term. However, it also makes the detection of danger more difficult. Distance between individuals increases, which means that each individual must ensure its own safety in many situations. In areas that show signs of water, activity gradually increases over time. Clear trails form on the hardened, dry ground. Overlapping footprints indicate that multiple species have used the same routes at different times. These locations do not attract prey alone. They also provide information to predators about the presence and movement frequency of nearby herds. As food becomes scarce, hunting strategies are forced to change. Extended pursuits become more costly in terms of energy. Target selection therefore becomes more cautious, favoring individuals that move slowly or become separated from the group. In this context, timing becomes a decisive factor. Hunting activity often occurs during periods of lower temperature when physical endurance can be maintained more effectively. Even when opportunities appear, action is not always taken immediately. Deliberate waiting helps reduce risk. It allows predators to observe, assess, and choose an approach suited to current environmental conditions. On the grassland, small movements can create large effects. A herd that remains too long in one location increases the level of attention from the surrounding area. In contrast, continuous movement also raises the risk of exhaustion under harsh conditions. This fragile balance governs the behavior of both prey and predators. Each species adjusts its strategy in its own way to maintain survival within an ecosystem under increasing pressure. At this stage of the dry season, decisions made have a direct impact on survival during the following weeks. A single poor choice can eliminate advantages that are already extremely limited. As the day progresses, tension accumulates across the entire landscape. Signs of survival become more apparent, ranging from heightened vigilance to changes in the movement rhythm of large herds. This is the context in which social predators begin to play a more distinct role. In an environment where resources are declining, coordination and task distribution become critical advantages. From this point, the story of one of the most highly adapted predators on the grassland begins to emerge. It is a species that depends on collective strategy to confront increasing survival pressure. As resources decline, the advantage of cooperative hunting becomes more evident. Across the grassland, groups of lionesses maintain stable formations, relying on coordination to increase access to prey under unfavorable conditions. The structure of a pride is shaped by experience accumulated over time. Adult individuals hold roles that guide movement and determine activity areas suited to current environmental conditions. Younger individuals learn how to maintain position, observe signals, and respond when necessary. During the dry season, rest periods are adjusted to match temperature conditions. Most activity occurs in the early morning and late afternoon, when energy expenditure is lower. These time windows also reduce the risk of early detection by highly alert prey. Preparation begins with an assessment of space. Terrain, wind direction, and distance to water sources are all considered. These factors determine the ability to approach a target without revealing position. When a herd of herbivores enters the field of view, pride activity changes noticeably. Individuals spread slightly apart, maintaining enough distance to cover multiple approach angles. This dispersion reduces the chance of being detected simultaneously while creating additional movement options. During this process, communication occurs through body posture and movement rhythm. There are no unnecessary signals. Each minor adjustment carries information required to maintain coordination. Distance to the prey is reduced gradually in stages. The pace of the advance is not accelerated too early in order to avoid revealing intent. Patience conserves energy and lowers the risk of failure. At close range, target selection becomes more specific. Individuals that are separated from the herd or move at a slower pace are often prioritized due to lower risk. Focusing on a single target helps limit the dispersion of force. Under prolonged resource scarcity, each approach becomes decisive. A failed attempt can force the pride to travel farther in search of a new opportunity. This results in additional energy expenditure in an already harsh environment. For this reason, most time is devoted to observation and position adjustment. Action is taken only when necessary factors align. At this stage, collective coordination plays a critical role. It allows the pride to maximize limited resources in order to maintain survival during the dry season. When distance becomes close enough, the movement rhythm of the pride shifts toward greater concentration. Individuals keep their bodies low, using grass cover and terrain to reduce the chance of detection. Wind direction is monitored continuously because a minor change can reveal position. During the approach phase, speed is not the decisive factor. Stability helps maintain formation and keeps energy expenditure at a lower level. Advancing step by step allows timely adjustment when prey changes direction. When prey detects an unusual signal, its response is immediate. Herbivore herds accelerate, creating distance to escape the danger zone. At this moment, collective strategy becomes clearly effective. Some individuals increase speed to apply direct pressure. Others hold positions that block escape routes, forcing prey to alter its movement path. This coordination reduces the chance of escaping the hunting area within a short period. Pursuits are usually brief, under high temperature conditions, maintaining speed for extended periods increases the risk of exhaustion. For this reason, the outcome of a hunting effort is often determined within the first seconds. When the target becomes separated from the herd, distance closes rapidly. Coordination distributes force, preventing a single individual from bearing all pressure. At this moment, physical strength and position play a more important role than speed alone. After the prey is restrained, the activity rhythm of the pride shifts again. Tension decreases as the immediate threat ends. However, risk does not disappear entirely. Sound and movement at the site can attract attention from other species in the area. Food consumption must occur quickly to reduce the likelihood of conflict. Individuals take turns approaching. Maintaining necessary distance to avoid unnecessary contact. Within the pride, order of access reflects social structure and physical condition. Adult individuals usually occupy more advantageous positions. Younger individuals observe and wait for a safer moment to approach remaining portions. Not every hunting effort produces the desired outcome. In many cases, energy expended is not fully recovered. This forces the pride to continue moving and searching for new opportunities in the following days. This repeated sequence of actions shapes the rhythm of lion life during the dry season. Each approach Each pursuit and each failure contributes to adjustments in survival strategy. In an environment where resources continue to decline, coordination and adaptability determine the ability of the entire pride to maintain existence. After the prey is restrained, order within the pride is quickly re-established. Individuals adjust their positions around the carcass to limit direct conflict and maintain safe distance. This arrangement reflects a social structure shaped over long periods of cooperative hunting and movement. Access to the food source occurs in stages. Individuals with greater physical strength usually occupy more advantageous positions, allowing rapid energy intake within a short time frame. Remaining individuals wait until tension levels decrease before moving closer. Under limited resource conditions, consumption proceeds at an urgent pace. The objective is to compensate for energy lost during the recent pursuit. Extended duration increases the likelihood of other competing species appearing in the area. Signals from the surrounding environment are monitored continuously. Sound, movement, and scent can all indicate the presence of other predators. When risk increases, activity at the site is shortened to reduce the chance of confrontation. Even within the pride, internal competitive pressure remains present. Differences in physical condition and position create brief interactions that usually end quickly to avoid disrupting consumption. Maintaining stability within the group helps reduce unnecessary energy loss. For younger individuals, access to food depends largely on timing. They observe from a safe distance, waiting for opportunities when space around the carcass becomes less tense. This approach helps limit the risk of injury in a highly competitive environment. After most easily accessible energy has been consumed, activity gradually slows. Individuals leave the area in small groups, avoiding prolonged concentration at a single location. This dispersion reduces the likelihood of being tracked by other species moving through the area. However, a single successful hunt does not guarantee long-term stability. Food sources are depleted quickly, and survival demands continue to increase in the following days. The pride must maintain a state of readiness, even when physical condition has not fully recovered. During the dry season, this sequence of activity repeats many times. Each hunt provides new information about the environment, prey, and surrounding competition levels. This information is reflected in how the pride adjusts its range of movement and timing. Over time, accumulated pressure affects not only physical condition but also shapes behavior. Travel distance may increase. Rest periods become shorter. All adjustments are directed toward a single objective, which is maintaining existence under prolonged, harsh conditions. This continuous chain of adaptation allows lions to maintain their role within the ecosystem. This occurs not through a single advantage, but through the ability to adjust strategy in response to ongoing environmental change. After each hunting cycle, attention within the ecosystem gradually shifts towards species that play foundational roles. These are large herbivores that govern energy distribution in this harsh environment. During the dry season, their movement behavior changes noticeably. Familiar routes no longer guarantee stable food supply. Herds are forced to expand their range to access areas that still maintain green vegetation. Movement proceeds at a cautious pace. Individuals maintain enough distance to observe the surrounding environment while preserving necessary group cohesion. This arrangement increases the ability to detect danger from a distance and reduces the risk of sudden approach. Water becomes the primary guiding factor. Routes leading to remaining water sources are reused over time, forming clear trails on hardened, dry ground. Overlapping movement traces indicate that multiple species have passed through the same area at different times. In areas where vegetation remains sufficiently dense, stop duration becomes longer. Foraging activity occurs at a slower pace to reduce unnecessary energy expenditure. However, concentration at a single location also increases attention from the surrounding environment. To reduce risk, herds typically change position after certain intervals. This change helps limit continuous tracking while allowing vegetation minimal recovery time. Under prolonged scarcity, differences in physical condition between individuals become more apparent. Younger or weaker individuals move more slowly, forcing the herd to adjust overall speed to maintain cohesion. This decision reduces the risk of separation but also extends travel time. When temperature reaches the highest point of the day, activity temporarily slows. Herds move toward areas with limited shade to rest for short periods. This rest is not completely still because observation of the surrounding environment continues without interruption. Even during rest, survival pressure remains present. Any unusual movement in the surrounding space can trigger immediate defensive response. This vigilance is the result of many generations of adaptation in a high-risk environment. As temperature gradually decreases toward the end of the day, movement resumes. Herds continue toward areas that can provide food and water in the near future. This rhythm repeats day after day, forming the fundamental operating cycle of the grassland ecosystem. From these persistent movements, the energy foundation for other species is maintained. From this point, the relationship between prey and predators continues to be shaped under increasingly harsh environmental conditions. During the dry season, survival priorities often outweigh other activities. However, the reproductive cycles of many species continue because prolonged interruption can affect population stability. Breeding timing is often adjusted to reduce risk. Many herds select periods when food resources become temporarily more stable, even if only for a short duration. This selection increases the survival probability of newborn individuals during the first weeks of life. When newborns appear, Herd structure shifts toward greater protection. Adult individuals maintain surrounding positions, creating necessary distance from the external environment. This arrangement helps limit unexpected access from potential threats. Movement speed of the herd is also adjusted. Pace is maintained at a level that allows newborn individuals to keep up. This extends travel duration but preserves group cohesion. For newborn individuals, the early days represent the highest risk period. Reaction capability remains limited. Physical endurance is not yet fully developed. Any sudden environmental change can generate significant pressure. In this context, the role of the herd becomes more evident. Adult individuals often remain close to newborns, adjusting travel direction to avoid areas with elevated risk levels. This adjustment reflects experience accumulated across many generations living in the same environment. However, not every individual can maintain the collective movement rhythm of the herd. When prolonged resource scarcity persists, differences in physical condition become more pronounced. Individuals with lower physical capacity experience difficulty keeping pace with required movement speed. In such situations, the herd is forced to make decisions. Maintaining reduced speed for extended periods can increase risk for the entire group. In contrast, continuing movement at the collective pace can cause certain individuals to become separated from the herd. Separated individuals face significantly higher risk levels. Distance from the herd reduces early detection of danger. Reaction capability during unexpected situations also becomes limited. Within this ecosystem, such moments occur more frequently during the dry season. They reflect continuous pressure imposed by the environment on large herbivores. However, this sequence of challenges contributes to shaping population structure over time. Individuals with stronger adaptive capacity maintain presence within the herd. Individuals with lower adaptive capacity are gradually removed from the operating system of nature. Through minor adjustments in movement, behavior, and herd protection, the ecosystem foundation continues to be maintained. Along with this process, interspecies relationships continue to operate under a fragile balance. As herds continue moving across the grassland, their imprint on the landscape becomes increasingly visible over time. Vegetation is shortened in areas frequently used as resting points. Open patches of ground appear between remaining grass clusters. This change does not occur randomly. It reflects repeated movement rhythms of large herbivore herds throughout the dry season. Areas used more intensively experience higher pressure, while less accessed zones gain opportunity for gradual recovery. Through this process, vegetation structure is continuously adjusted. Grass height varies according to movement density. Shrub distribution reflects frequency of use within each area. These adjustments directly influence visibility within open environments. In areas where grass is lowered, visual range becomes wider. In less affected regions, taller vegetation creates more visual obstruction. Differences in visibility play an important role for both prey and predators. For herbivores, open space supports earlier detection of unusual movement. For predators, areas with taller vegetation provide conditions for concealed approach. For this reason, herd movement routes indirectly determine locations where predation interactions occur. Trails formed over time become ecological corridors where multiple species depend on the same spatial pathways. Within these corridors, ecosystem activity density increases. Feeding, resting, and movement occur alternately within the same space. Each species adjusts appearance, timing to reduce unnecessary conflict. The connection between herbivores and predators therefore extends beyond direct pursuit events. It begins with how vegetation is utilized and regenerated over time. The presence of large herds maintains energy flow, enabling predator species to persist in this environment. Conversely, predation pressure forces herds to continue moving. Avoiding prolonged stay at a single location reduces risk of sustained tracking. This movement contributes to dispersing impact on vegetation, preventing excessive exploitation at any single point. Through this sequence of interactions, the ecosystem maintains a dynamic balance. No factor exists independently. Each movement generates chain reactions affecting multiple species. Large herbivores, through daily movement and foraging behavior, hold a central role in this process. They not only sustain their own survival, but also shape conditions required for the surrounding community. As the dry season continues, pressure on this foundation becomes increasingly apparent. From this point, other species within the ecosystem are forced to adjust strategies to adapt to ongoing environmental change.